everyone? This is Big Mike from Big Mike's Real Reviews, and I just saw Fantastic Four, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it. So I really, really, really am a little torn on this movie. Okay. So what I want to do is go over the things that I liked and disliked, and then I'll give you my rating of the movie. But what I want to do first is go into, you know how sometimes they say, oh, the good news or the bad news. I'm going alphabetical order, right? I'm going to do the bad first. Okay. So the bad or things that kind of, hurt the movie in my opinion. I felt like the first act was rough. Now, how it the opening sequences of showing like the backstory of how this universe is, and they were in universe 828, by the way. How this universe is Fantastic Four came into existence, some of the people they were fighting, the villains and everything, and because they had been the Fantastic Four at this point for about 4 years. So they did the exposition on as you saw in the trailers, that Ted Gilbert show. So that's how they kind of introduced the Fantastic Four, right? But after that, in my opinion, like it was kind of slow and dragging, and I, again, it was still, watchable, and I wasn't like completely taken out of the movie or anything, but it was just a bit rough in my opinion. Kind of like the pacing, how they edited cuts, not the performances, of course. The performances are great. That's going to be one of the best parts. So that's the first thing, right? Was the first act. The first act was shaky, in my opinion. The second thing that kind of bugged me just a hair was for the most part, the CG was really good, right? Because they weren't trying to push out a whole lot of projects this year and everything like that. So the CG was on point, and there were scenes that were gorgeous. Also, in the converse, there were scenes that were not. Um, Mostly to do, in my opinion, with Baby Franklin, right? So I guess they couldn't use real babies in, of course, every shot. So some of the shots they CG'd the whole baby, and in some of those shots it was just very wonky, and I was just like, oh. And I mean, we got the CG baby in Superman, but I mean, Baby Joey was supposed to look weird because he was Metamorpho's kid, right? But this was supposed to be a real kid. The CG was just a little off. So that being said, those were my only two gripes in the film. Now let's get to the positive. Performances. Performances were great. Ebon Moss-Bachrach as the Thing, the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing. All performances top-notch. Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, excellent. I was not expecting to like Pedro Pascal's take on Reed Richards as much as I did. He really, he really portrayed Reed in a different light. He had a different cadence to his voice. He seemed very distant. The way he played Reed Richards was great. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Vanessa Kirby as the Invisible Woman, also fantastic, right? Julia Garner as Shala Ball, Silver Surfer, fantastic. Ralph Ineson as Galactus, man. I mean, Galactus it was a big threat. It was stakes. You could actually feel like this villain was intimidating, right? It that was one of the positives as well. The stakes in this movie felt really high. Like like I said, the first act was one of the bad. Acts 2 and 3, in my opinion, were great. That was a saving grace. Like I was kind of like, ooh, this is a little rough in the first act. But once Silver Surfer came and heralded Galactus coming, the movie took off from there. There was the sequences in space that you saw in the trailer. I mean, we're talking real suspense, real stakes. That was one of the best scenes, in my opinion, in any movie this year so far. And I love Superman, but that space scene was one of the best scenes in a movie I've seen this year, and probably for a while. Um, Again, like I said, Acts 2 and 3 were very strong. The performances were very strong all throughout. Even though in the first act the movie itself was a little shaky, the performances were always great. So overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I didn't love it. So with that being said, I will give it a 8.5 out of 10 stars, but that's still not a bad thing. I think I gave Superman a 9, but Superman had like a lot more action. It was a lot more going on in Superman. But I'm not saying that that's the bad thing with Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four was actually more serious. Like, you know how a lot of Marvel movies they cut in with a lot of humor and stuff? Man, you would think from the previous like Fantastic Four movies from like the early 2000s, the Tim Story ones, where they were like mostly comedic, this one had a very serious tone with very little jokes. And I don't think that was to its detriment. I think that was to its advantage. And I really enjoyed it. So let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and I will catch you next time.